What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Saturday evening pandemic update for Saturday, April 22nd, 2023. Taking a look here, starting off with India. Do not go by the headline here. We're using a different website than we usually use for India's update today. It's Mint. It says here, India reports an increase of more than 500 new COVID cases and 14 deaths in 24 hours. Well, I can tell you the 14 deaths is correct. 500 new COVID cases is not correct. Let's scroll down and I'll explain. It says here, India on Saturday recorded an additional 501 COVID cases and 14 deaths in 24 hours. But then it comes down here to say, according to data from the Union Ministry of Health, India reported 12,193 fresh COVID-19 cases. So that 12,193 number is the actual number of new cases reported. The number of active cases has gone up to 67,556 cases. And honestly, to be honest with you, I don't know how they even, I don't know how a country tracks active cases. What do? Do they actually get a report when someone says, oh, I'm now negative? Because, not everyone tests to see when they're finally negative. I know here in the United States, a majority of people don't. The hardcore people, they'll take a test every day. They'll put a date on the test. But most people, the average person, does not do that. So again, I don't know how they're coming up with this 67,556. I'll just assume it could be higher or lower. Taking a look at this, now this is the Times of India. COVID hits Supreme Court's same-sex marriage bench. Tomorrow's hearing has been canceled. So the hearing for tomorrow that they were supposed to have is canceled because they have people that have tested positive for COVID. Alrighty, moving on to this website. And we do have something to show here. Another wave of COVID-19 hospitalizations expected in Oregon. And this is from the Statesman Journal. So they are expecting in May that there's going to be a rise in COVID hospitalizations there. I wonder what model they are using there. And quite frankly, to be honest, I do agree with this. Their hospitalizations, probably towards the second half of the May, we'll say though, should start rising because at some point, XBB.1.16, we know it will cause an increase in transmission in cases across the country. We just don't know how much that's going to be. And ultimately, when you do get an increase in cases, regardless of how much immunity there is, there will be some sort of a hospital increase. So we know this is true. Oregon eventually will rise. Whether it actually ends up being May or maybe even early June, because as we saw this week with the XBB.1.16 variant increase, it wasn't a whole huge increase, but that could change in the coming weeks. So it says here, we are confident that thanks to increased immunity among people who have been vaccinated or previously had COVID-19, the risk remains low. To a degree, yes. To a degree, no. Yes, some people, for whatever reason, no matter what they do, no matter how risky they behave, just don't seem to get it. But then you have other people who are getting it with just in a few weeks' time frame of either a previous infection or a vaccination. And it's one of the unexplained mysteries of this entire pandemic. Alright, moving on. I do want to give a disclaimer here. You may still, I'm trying a new ad blocker now. You're still going to see a few sites here and there that have ads. Because if I don't click on allow ads on some of these news sites, they won't let me view the news story whatsoever. So, yeah, that's the way it's going to be. But the Indian sites, we will not see as many ads anymore, thank goodness. Because I know some have not liked that. I personally, it was driving me nuts as well. Alright, this is some sad news. Comedian Barry Humphries has died, age 89. He was an Australian entertainer. It says here, the Australian entertainer is arguably best known for creating the onstage character Dame Edna Everage. So if you were a fan of this comedian, sadly he passed away. Alright, moving on to this. Crown Princess Mette Marit of Norway cancels birthday outing after falling ill amid ongoing battle with incurable lung disease. So this is sad to hear. We do have one last thing to report on in celebrity news, and that is Sam Smith cancels gig hours before the show as they're struck with a mysterious illness. We don't know what the mysterious illness is. And if you go on down here, he's only 30 years old. He was due to perform at the OVO Hydro Arena on Saturday night. And it says here he took to Instagram. The pop star explained that they and their team were feeling really unwell and needed to reschedule. So it's not just him, and his team. We know COVID is highly transmissible. Could it be COVID? It's possible, but they're not stating, so obviously we don't know for certain. We can't confirm that it's COVID. We could suspect it may be COVID, but also we don't know what their symptoms are. Alrighty, moving on to this now. This is something I want to start including in the daily report. As we are now in allergy season, it's been hitting me really hard. My eyes have been itching all afternoon. And based on today's report for the allergies, look at this. The Northeast, well, right where I'm at is in high, 9.7 to 12. But you can see something here. If you look to the west of that, across the Great Lakes and the Appalachian Mountains, it's low. There's a reason for that. There's a cold front that is slicing through the Northeast right now. It's going to take its time to get through, but this will bring some much needed allergy relief to the people in the Northeast. For the rest of the country, it's mainly medium levels today, and we do have some high levels to report across Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, even Iowa and Illinois. You're seeing high levels today. Nevada, there's some high levels there. Then a lot of moderate places. Then you get up in here into the northern Rockies, like Montana and Wyoming. You're just at medium to near low, and there's a reason for that. You're still dealing with cold weather, and you still have snow on the ground. Your trees have not fully budded out yet, so you're not seeing high levels of pollen yet. Alright, moving on to wastewater. Or actually, no, this day in COVID history, today being April 22nd, we do have some history from April 22nd of 2022. For the second year in a row, COVID-19 was the leading cause of death in the U.S. after heart disease and cancer. Then, back in April 22nd of 2020, after 2 pet cats in separate areas of New York State test positive for SARS-CoV-2 virus, CDC recommends that people restrict their pets' interactions with other people or animals outside their household to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Honestly, for all we know, it could still be spreading in pets. And there's a reason why I say that. How many people are actually going to test their cat or dog for COVID-19? We've seen it in various different animals, such as such as white-tailed deer. So it's possible it could still be out there in cats. Is it in high numbers? Probably not. But I imagine there's probably still a couple cases out there. Moving on to today's wastewater, and let's take a look at the national picture today. I don't think we got an update here, and if we did, it's not all. Nothing has really changed. Yeah, still the West Coast is rising slightly, which would support the idea that in May at some point hospitalizations could rise in Oregon. The rest of the country is flat to dropping. Taking a look at the CDC wastewater surveillance, and you will see here that we're not seeing much changes. I was going to do a wastewater update tomorrow. I'm thinking we may not do that just because, I mean, look at New York State. We have a lot of places missing. It's just jumbled. We're going to have to delay this to some other time. Don't worry, I have something else for you tomorrow. On top of the pandemic update. Yep, that's right. I got something else to show you tomorrow. But taking a look here, we do have these moderate sites in Ohio. A couple moderate sites going on here out in Kansas and even up in Nebraska. On the West Coast, just low to near moderate transmission. Taking a look at the CDC transmission map, you will see here 671 counties are in high transmission, 468 in substantial, 1,393 are in moderate, 591 are in low transmission. Can't really give you an update out of BNO today because they did not update, which I guess that's okay. On days when there's not many states or not much new data, they're not going to update, and I fully get that. Taking a look here at the CDC latest COVID variants, and XBB.1.5 is 73.6%, XBB.1.16 is 9.6%, XBB.1.91 is 7.9%, XBB.1.92 is at 2.9%, XBB.1.51 is at 2.2%, FD.2 is at 1.6%, and XBB is at 1%. New Jersey does not update over the weekend. We'll just double check this for you. They update on Monday through Friday. The latest numbers back on Friday were 200 new cases, 97 probable cases, 2 lab confirmed deaths, and 4 hospital deaths. Taking a look at the latest hospital number from there, they had 247 people in the hospital, and 16 people were on a ventilator. Taking a look at the hospital trend, you can see they started the week with 316 people in the hospital. So, wow, that's an impressive drop if you ask me. 16 people on a ventilator. Taking a look here at Central Pennsylvania, Center County, Pennsylvania. Mountain and Knee Hospital, the only hospital in Center County. I like to look at it because that county has both an urban and rural setting. They don't update on weekends, just 6 hospitalizations there. Taking a look at New York State, this should be the same number from yesterday. I was told New York State is ending weekend reporting, and yes, that's true. 677 new cases were reported yesterday, and 2% positivity, which was higher than 1.5%. And we'll just take a look at the hospitalizations. In case you did not see yesterday's update, New York State had 753 people in the hospital, 83 people in the ICU. Alright, moving on to some international data, and you will see here on today's international update, we definitely still have countries that are rising. In fact, we're going to do this a little bit differently today. I'm going to show you the countries with the biggest rises first. And coming down here, Morocco, 189% rise. Honduras, 167% rise. Thailand, 159% rise in cases. Egypt, 84% rise in cases. Philippines, 55% rise in cases. Venezuela, 56% rise in cases. Ireland, look at this, 55% rise in cases. Spain, 49% rise in cases. Afghanistan, 46% rise in cases. Then we skip down here to Slovakia, 42% rise in cases, 22% rise in deaths. Indonesia, 33% rise in cases, 6% decrease in deaths. Hong Kong, 33% rise in cases, 83% rise in deaths. India still holding at a 30% rise in cases, 53% increase in deaths. Cuba, look at this, 27% increase in cases. Mexico, 24% increase in cases, 17% increase in deaths. Panama, 19% increase in cases. Hungary, 18% increase in cases. South Korea, 17% increase in cases. Japan, 12% increase in cases, 1% increase in deaths. Italy, 3% increase in cases, 6% increase in deaths. And finally, Switzerland, 3% increase in cases, and Australia, 2% increase in cases. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's pandemic update video. We'll have another pandemic update video tomorrow, plus a special video that we're going to do tomorrow morning. I'll give you a hint. We're unboxing something tomorrow morning. Yeah, something we've only done one other time on this channel, and it is pandemic related this time. So look forward to that. It'll probably be out maybe tomorrow morning or early afternoon at the latest, followed by the pandemic update. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I will see you all again next time, but I need to do you to do a few things first. First, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe down below. Continue to test negative for COVID, and stay safe until I see you again next time. Have a great Saturday night, everyone.